Welcome to White Star Horrors Studio. Tonight we have two scary tales for your listening pleasure. The Christmas Wraith, A Day After Christmas. Original untold stories by William and read by Maxwell. The Christmas Wraith. The snow fell in heavy sheets, blanketing the small town in an eerie silence. The once festive lights that adorned the houses now cast long, ominous shadows on the untouched white canvas. This Christmas Eve held a promise of terror, and the children nestled in their beds were blissfully unaware of the horror that awaited them. In the heart of the town stood a centuries-old mansion, long abandoned and shrouded in legends. The locals spoke of the winter wraith, a malevolent spirit said to awaken every Christmas, seeking the warmth of the living to ease its eternal, icy torment. As the clock struck midnight, the air grew colder, and the winter wraith materialized within the mansion. Its presence sent shivers through the town, and those who happened to glance toward the decrepit structure felt an inexplicable dread. Amelia, a young girl with an insatiable curiosity, found herself drawn to the mansion's ominous allure. Ignoring the warnings of her parents, she slipped out of her home and ventured into the snow-laden streets, a sense of foreboding guiding her steps. The mansion loomed before her, its windows like vacant eyes peering into her soul. The door creaked open with an otherworldly invitation as Amelia stepped into the darkness within. The air inside was frigid, and the once grand halls were now draped in shadows that seemed to whisper dreadful secrets. As Amelia explored the desolate mansion, she stumbled upon a room adorned with tattered holiday decorations. A flickering Christmas tree stood in the corner, its lights casting a ghastly glow on the surrounding darkness. The air smelled of decay, a stark contrast to the festive ambience the room once held. A distant sound echoed through the mansion, the haunting melody of a warped Christmas carol. The source remained elusive, as if the very walls themselves were singing a mournful tune. Amelia, overcome by a sense of dread, followed the haunting sounds down a narrow corridor. The melody led her to a room at the end of the hall, its door slightly ajar. As she pushed it open, a ghastly sight unfolded before her eyes. The winter wraith, a skeletal figure draped in icy tendrils, stood over a crib adorned with a blood-red ribbon. The crib's occupant, a sleeping child, was oblivious to the supernatural presence looming above. Amelia's breath caught in her throat as she witnessed the winter wraith extending its frozen hand over the crib. The temperature plummeted, and the air turned thick with an otherworldly frost. The haunting carol reached a crescendo, sending a chill down her spine. The child in the crib stirred, waking to the malevolent presence in the room. The winter wraith turned its hollow gaze toward Amelia, its icy fingers pointing accusingly. The child's cries intensified, a symphony of terror harmonizing with the ghastly carol. Panicked, Amelia fled from the room, the anguished cries of the child and the spectral carol echoing through the mansion. The winter wraith pursued, its icy breath on her neck as she raced through the chilling corridors. As Amelia reached the grand entrance, the mansion itself seemed to conspire against her escape. The doors slammed shut, trapping her inside with the malevolent spirit. The winter wraith, now an ethereal specter of death, glided toward her, its voice a frozen whisper that seeped into her very soul. In a desperate attempt to escape, Amelia stumbled upon a dusty attic. The air was thick with the scent of mothballs and decay. Trembling, she searched for a means of escape. As the winter wraith closed in, its icy tendrils reaching for her, Amelia discovered an old, forgotten attic window. With a burst of adrenaline, she smashed the window and crawled onto the snow-covered roof. The town below was cloaked in an otherworldly silence as the winter wraith, thwarted in its malevolent pursuit, let out a bone-chilling wail that echoed through the night. Amelia, breathless and terrified, descended the mansion's roof and fled into the silent town. The chilling air stung her lungs as she ran, each footstep a frantic attempt to leave the horror behind. Behind her, the mansion stood as a silent sentinel, its windows like eyes watching the fleeing intruder. As Christmas morning dawned, the town awoke to an untouched layer of snow. The events of the night seemed like a distant nightmare, but the legend of the winter wraith persisted. For Amelia, the memory lingered, a chilling reminder that some horrors were not meant to be confronted, and the warmth of the living was a precious gift to be protected on this frosty Christmas night. A day after Christmas. The lingering frost, the sun rose over Evergreen Hollow, casting a warm glow on the snow-covered town. Christmas Day had arrived, bringing with it a sense of joy and celebration. Yet, in the wake of the nightmarish encounter with the winter wraith, a lingering frost clung to the air, whispering of the spectral terrors that had unfolded on Christmas Eve. Amelia, haunted by the chilling memories of the mansion and the malevolent spirit, tried to shake off the residual fear that clung to her like a shadow. The townspeople, unaware of the supernatural events that transpired, reveled in the post-Christmas festivities, exchanging gifts and sharing laughter. As the day unfolded, an unusual frost settled over Evergreen Hollow. Ice crystals formed intricate patterns on windows, and a bone-chilling breeze cut through the winter air. The lingering frost seemed to defy the warmth of the holiday season, casting a pallor over the once festive town. Amelia, unable to shake off the feeling that the winter wraith's presence still lingered, decided to visit the town's historical archives. There, she delved into the dusty records, seeking clues to the origins of the malevolent spirit that had tormented her on Christmas Eve. In the forgotten pages of town history, she uncovered an unsettling tale, a tragic love story that ended in betrayal and an icy demise. The winter wraith, it seemed, was once a man who had suffered an untimely death, consumed by a bitter cold that bound his spirit to the town. Determined to free Evergreen Hollow from the specter's icy grip, Amelia sought the guidance of an elderly town elder known for her knowledge of the supernatural. The elder, eyes clouded with age, spoke of a ritual that could banish the winter wraith and bring warmth back to the town. As night fell on the day after Christmas, Amelia, guided by the elder's ancient wisdom, ventured to the heart of Evergreen Hollow. Armed with knowledge and a resolve to confront the spectral menace, she reached the abandoned mansion where the winter wraith had awakened. In the frost-laden corridors, she performed the ritual, a delicate dance with fire, salt, and a melody of redemption. The air crackled with energy as the ritual unfolded, and the temperature seemed to rise in defiance of the lingering frost. As the final notes of the redemption melody echoed through the mansion, a blinding light enveloped the room. The winter wraith, trapped in a spectral embrace, wailed in agony as the warmth of the ritual seeped into its frozen essence. Amelia, eyes filled with determination, witnessed the ethereal figure dissipate like morning mist. The mansion, once a harbinger of terror, stood silent and still, its windows now devoid of the vacant gaze that had watched over the town. With the banishment of the winter wraith, Evergreen Hollow thawed from the lingering frost. The air, once laden with a supernatural chill, now carried the crispness of a winter morning. As the first light of dawn touched the town, the residents awoke to a newfound warmth, unaware of the courageous act that had saved them from the icy grasp of the malevolent spirit. Amelia, her heart now unburdened by the spectral horror, watched as the townspeople embraced the dawn of a new day. The legend of the winter wraith, now a distant memory, became a cautionary tale whispered by the crackling fires of the post-Christmas hearths, a reminder that even in the coldest of nights, the warmth of courage and redemption could triumph over the darkest of shadows. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Please, subscribe, share and like to stay tuned for new episodes of White Star Horror Stories, presented Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays